He's still in the hospital.
Okay, would you please rise?
There's 5 tennis balls on the
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two.
And sir, was there something you'd
I
like to
have
want to
another
tell?
request. Our commander is still in the hospital. All the ladies and the vets in the world, please pray for all of them, especially our commander, Gilbert Venezuela. He's still in the hospital, and I thank you all for it.
Thank you, sir.
This is the best
Agenda, Pine Mountain Club Property Owners Association Incorporated, Board of Directors regular meeting Saturday, November 20, 2021, 10 a.m. Condo Room. Members in good standing are free to speak on a specific item on today's agenda when the chairman calls for discussion. If there is an item that is not on the agenda that an individual wishes to present, the appropriate time for the presentation is during the member forum. This meeting is being videotaped to allow members in good standing who could not attend to view the meeting at a later date and to aid the recording secretary in preparing the minutes of the meeting. Members will observe rules of decorum. The speaker will address the chairman and speak only to the matter under consideration. Members will refrain from being argumentative and making derogatory or personal remarks or gestures. Members will turn off or silence all cell phones or communication devices while attending the meeting. Call to order, Camera Collins.
Here.
Richard Ballard.
Present.
Steve Burkett excused. Philip Gabriel.
Here.
Tony Harmon excused. Peggy White-Bolger here. Bill Lewis too.
Here.
Ellen McClellan. Here. Phyllis Throckmorton excused. Adopt the agenda. Resolved that the agenda for the Board of Directors meeting of November 20, 2021 be adopted. That's a motion.
Second.
Second by Cam. That's very good. Just kidding. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Consent agenda, opportunity for public comment. All items listed under 3 consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member of the board wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone in the audience, the item may be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. 3, consent agenda. Dispense with the reading of and approve the draft minutes of the Board of Directors regular board meeting of October 16, 2021. Oh, committee applications forwarded for concurrence by the board. Budget and Finance, Vadim Zadikian. That's a motion.
Second.
And a second by Richard. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Officers report, chair's report.
Good morning to the large crowd we have gathered here this morning. Thank you for being here. And it would be even more fitting that my report is very simple and brief and sincere, as I would like to commend the overall work being done day in and day out by the employees of this association. I watch them work, I review some of their work product, I have worked with a few of them, and I receive compliments about them quite frequently. They troubleshoot, resolve problems, handle complaints, assist when assistance isn't always mandatory, and they work hard to serve our community. They do a good job, and we should be thankful this time of year especially for their efforts and dedication. I would also like to commend, once again, our general manager, Karen Schulman, who oversees our employees and works around the clock to make sure this operation runs as smoothly as possible, despite mechanical failures, broken pumps, a drought, and many other challenges. As members, we should truly appreciate these efforts by our employees and be thankful for their service. I hope you all enjoy the coming Thanksgiving week and you can celebrate and give thanks with your friends and family. Be safe, stay healthy, and be positive.
General Manager's report.
So I'll make up for his short message with my long one. So first I want to welcome my husband Eric, our parliamentarian John Cantley, and I know hiding behind the post is our longtime member Finn Michael. This is quite a group we have today. So snow plows are ready for snow, and if you don't know about our snow policy, we have it in the lobby. You can pick it up on your way out. It's by the door in those boxes. And I want you to know how we plow. We plow the highway, our main streets first that go to the highway, then our secondary streets, and then our cul-de-sacs last. We don't do any berms until everything has been plowed, rock has been laid down, and then we do berms, if we have time. We do have a list of ADA people or doctor note people that we will go out and do their berms after all the snow has stopped and after all the work has been done. If there is a situation that you need, you would call 911. They will call us and we will make sure that whoever's house they're going to, the berm has been cleared out so they can get into the house. We do that every year. It hasn't changed, and we keep getting complaints. So hopefully this year people will listen. I want everyone to know that our new Bobcat that was ordered came in about 3 weeks ago, and if you look over where the bed and breakfast is on the frontage road and then going east, all that was cleaned up by our new Bobcat. It took out all the dead brush and just cleared it out, so we love that machine. And then we also have our 2 John Deere carts. They're going to be delivered in December, and our large John Deere tractor will be coming in January. The reserve study had called for the clubhouse roof and maintenance roof to be replaced in the 2021 year. Instead, we sealed the roof on the clubhouse, hoping to give us 2 more years. And we also patched up the roof at the maintenance yard for now to give us 2 more years life on both of those. And should the board or future boards move ahead with the facilities improvement, we don't want to spend $75,000 on this roof just to have it torn off in 2 years because the roof line will change. The October financials, and I know Cam will go over those, but we are better than budget, $241,018 for the month of, or for year to date. And we still have 1 assessment to collect from 18-19 year, 1 assessment for 19-20 year. We have 22 assessments to collect from 2021 and 155 assessments for the 21-22 year. And the mailboxes at Tyrol have a new cover that's done just in time for winter. It looks really nice. Halloween in Lambton Park this year. We had that for the children, and we had about 100 kids show up for that. It's the biggest turnout we've had, and it was a lot of fun. The weather was nice. They decorated pumpkins and did crafts and had music. And then on Sunday, the 3rd annual Halloween Barn Bash was up at the Equestrian Center, and they had about 300 people in attendance. They had crafts and music and horses and Halloween costumes. And they also sponsored a barbecue of hot dogs and hamburgers for $7. Fun was had by all. Next week is Thanksgiving, so on Friday night we have our annual Christmas tree lighting. Hot chocolate and brownies will be served, so bundle up, come out, and join the singing of Christmas carols. The festivities start precisely at 6 p.m. Then on Saturday, the next day, after the tree lighting, we have our annual craft fair. It's back after 2 years due to COVID. And there will be booths in the Condor Room, Condor Lounge, Rec Room, and the Pool Pavilion. If you need gifts for the holiday, start with the craft fair for unique gifts. We're still in a COVID-19 pandemic, and masks are required in the clubhouse, the pro shop, and the post office. Kern County Health Department said the majority of our cases are in the unvaccinated population. More than 99% of Kern County cases are because of the unvaccinated. If you're unvaccinated, please don't come in without a mask. If you insist on not wearing a mask, it will be noted that you are attesting to the fact that you have been vaccinated. And I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving this week.
Karen?
Yes.
Can you just expand on the snow plowing, just so it's on the record, that if there's kids playing in the cul-de-sac, that the tractors won't go down?
Yes,
If there's
if-
cars parked, they won't go down? Just-
Yes.
That can't be stressed enough, because we have a lot of STRs, where the kids are gonna be out playing. So I
Yes.
think we made maybe a special note to the people who are registered, send out letters to them, explaining
We'll
the
put it in
situation.
an email blast, and we'll also get it into the Condor, because it's very important. The plows cannot see kids playing on the street. They sit too high, and by the time they notice the kids out there, they can't stop on a dime. There could be ice under that snow, and they're gonna be slipping and sliding as it is. No kids on the street, and if there is, they are not coming down your street. If there's a car parked on the street or in the cul-de-sac, the plows will not go and plow that street. And I don't care how many neighbors on that street call and complain their street wasn't plowed. We can't do it. It's too dangerous for our plow people, and we don't want to damage cars, and we certainly don't want to hurt children. Thank you.
Treasurer's report.
Okay. For the period ending October 31st, 2021, our revenue is $65,525, better than budget. Our operating expenses are $245,812, better than budget. Other operating transactions which includes the deposit to the reserve account, is $293,938 better than budget. $17,399 better than budget, for an overall of the change in the operating fund is $293,938 better than budget. And payroll is $118.67 better than budget. Karen already mentioned the collection of the past years and the current year assessments. And the reserve fund update is the ending balance for the current period is $3,394,249. And on the cash balances, the operating fund cash balance is $2,912,953. And the reserve fund cash balance is $3,697,449. I reviewed the bank statements and the financials with Beth on Thursday, and who else did you?
No, Phyllis.
Oh, she was here, okay, and so Phyllis also did that, we did them separately. And and they were in order, we're in good shape. And I want to make a motion to ratify the review of the association's October 2021 financials in accordance with Civil Code 5500 and 5501.
I'll second.
Second by Penny. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Committee reports. Acknowledge receipt of committee minutes record. Acknowledge receipt of committee approved committee minutes. Budget and Finance, October 2021. Communications, October 2021, November 2021. Environmental Control, November 2021. Governing Documents, November 2021. Approved.
Oh, we'll do this.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Was that a motion?
Yes.
Is there a second? By Philip. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Approve Environmental Control Committee project recommendations 4. And approve cottage industry permits 1.
That's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Richard. Discussion?
I have a quick comment on the one cottage industry. I'm not so sure that's a cottage industry. If you look up the definition, it's more of people who are manufacturing something.
And this is the
I thought that was-
fundraiser,
I thought
right?
that was the nonprofit that was raising money.
It is raising
Yeah.
money, but it doesn't really fall under cottage industry. And part of it is out of state, part of it's in Colorado.
Oh,
Okay.
Huh? For funding, yeah, I get that.
it's for filing purposes.
I'm just saying that's where it's incorporated in Colorado, once in California.
Yeah.
But I don't think it really falls under cottage industry. I don't think it's something we need to be involved in.
Okay.
I
So,
mean, you can look it up yourselves, but
so let's do this, just for the formal person. Would you withdraw your motion, Peggy?
Sure.
And then who seconded it? Can we withdraw a second? Let's entertain a motion to approve the Environmental Control Committee project recommendations. Would you like to do that, Peggy?
Sure.
All right. And a second by
Me.
Ellen. All right, so to approve just the Environmental Control Committee project recommendations. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And now we have this cottage industry permit. Do you think maybe we should send that back for more information?
well, I just don't think it's a cottage industry.
It doesn't sound like one.
A cottage industry is someone that, like, they make furniture, jewelry, knitting, fabrics, where
Okay,
they make things. I just don't
Or
think
if
we need
they
to be
allow people
involved in
coming-
their
If they
fundraising.
allow people coming to their,
Correct.
their, 5-10 people a day coming to their house, that would qualify, but this doesn't sound like something like that at all.
okay, so let me
It's
just
gonna be
ask
an
a
online
question.
gig, right?
It almost sounds, well, let me just ask this. Is there a motion to approve this permit?
Well,
And seeing none,
Well,
I would say that
but we're not disapproving either, right? We're just,
we're not approving it,
okay.
because nobody made a motion to approve it, so I would think it would just disappear.
I just don't know. I don't know if we need to research it a little
We'll let them
more.
know that this did
Doesn't
not
fall
get
into
approved,
the
and
cottage
if
industry.
they want to
Because I
revisit
did
it,
look
they
it up.
can.
I tried to, and I looked up the three organizations. One, there's really nothing there. The estate, I don't know what that's about, but
you know, I was just pretty careful, and I just didn't say anything there that would make the cottage industry.
Okay.
I didn't research as much as she did, but.
So basically what we're saying is, we're not disapproving it, we're just saying it doesn't need approval as a cottage
it's a cottage
industry.
industry.
Is that right?
It's just anybody who owns a business
The
here.
application to obtain a cottage industry permit,
Is unneeded.
well, no, it was not approved.
True. And if they feel that it is a cottage industry, then they can let us know why.
Yeah, we'll send them a letter
Right.
saying that the board did not take action on this application.
Okay, but we're not, okay, so we're not recognizing
We're not
it as a
denying
cottage.
it.
We're not denying it, but we're not
approving the
recognizing,
application.
we're not recognizing it as a cottage industry.
Well, that would be what we would.
As written.
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Does that sound okay, Grace? Okay. Sound good? Okay.
Okay, members' open forum. This 25-minute open forum is for members to present their comments. Each member is allotted 5 minutes and will be timed. Members wishing to be recognized should step to the microphone, address the board chair, and state name, tract, and lot number. The board may extend the time limit for this forum to allow additional members to speak or grant additional time to a speaker when appropriate. Members may present questions to the board. If the question cannot be readily answered, it may be presented in writing or emailed to the recording secretary, and the question will be responded to within 15 calendar days upon receipt. In addition to the question, the member's name, tract, and lot number, telephone, and/or email contact information must be included. Members may not yield time to other speakers. For the consideration of other speakers and the 25-minute time limit, Members are requested to speak to the board only once during members' open forum. Members will refrain from being argumentative and making derogatory or personal remarks or gestures.
Okay, let everybody rush at one time.
You knew that. First of all, I'd like to thank the 4 other members that bothered to show up here for today's meeting. I find it appalling that not more members show up. I really do. Yeah. So anyway, I'm Finn Migan, 3566364, Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors. Last bunch, you made changes to Article 22, rentals, in particularly short-term rentals, STRs. This change has created quite a firestorm on the internet. I understand that some members that have issues with STRs, but this article, in my opinion, will have no effect. Bad STR operators don't care about our rules. They will not care about this one, and they will be bad STRs. They will just not report that they're an STR, and now you have a bigger problem. The problem STRs that we have now will still be here on January 1, and will still be a problem, so nothing was solved. The problem we have is what you did, and let's look to the heart of it. Bylaw 3.01, the association shall have one class of members only, and the property of other rights in interest and privileges of each member in good standing shall be equal. Just 10 days ago, the members got an email blast. Section 3.01 of the bylaws does not bar the adoption of short-term restrictions. That's true. Notwithstanding the fact that it'll only be binding on new members. So hold your horses. It's only binding on new members, but we're all equal. You further state in 3.01 prohibits 2 classes of membership. However, we're not creating 2 classes of membership. Each lot has the same membership rights: vote, run for the board, obtain corporate records, and the use of the association property. So we're almost equal. Some members can have an STR, some cannot. So we're kind of equal. Then you write, on the contrary, Civil Code 4741 expressly permits the association to adopt short-term rentals restrictions. That's true. Let's read 4741. Section A, an owner of a separate interest in a common interest development shall not be subject to a provision in the government documents or an amendment to the government documents that prohibits or has the effect of prohibiting or unreasonably restrict rental or leasing. That's pretty clear. So that would apply to all PMC members, current and futures. So, okay, now we have member class A who became a member prior to 2022 and member class B who became a member after 2022. Member class A can have an STR, but members in class B are prohibited. So is that not unreasonably restricting members in class B in violation of 4741 section A? Section C of Civil Code 4741 does allow you to prohibit short-term rentals, but in my opinion, you have to restrict all members, not just new members. If you don't, we're not equal. You obviously went with section C, you ignored section A, and then you ignored bylaw 3.01. More importantly, the Civil Code does not require that you prohibit short-term rentals, only that you can. So why do I care? I'm in class A. I can have an STR. It's only my new neighbor that cannot. Great. I am an elite member. I care because I think you just lowered all property values in Pine Mountain Club. Just imagine what a realtor has to tell a potential buyer. Yes, they are STRs, and yes, they can be a nuisance. The good news is you can't have one. That would kill the sale. killing sales, reduce value. I also care because I think this is asking for a lawsuit. We're gonna lose, we the members lose because we have to pay for the defense. I agree we have to stop bad STRs. In doing so, don't reduce our property values and don't set us up for a costly lawsuit. You're punishing all members trying to stop a few bad members. Do us a favor, reverse the change to Article 22 and find a solution that actually works. I thank you for your time.
Is there anyone else?
New business.
Before I start, the next 3 or 4 resolutions have to do with governing docks and what they've done with some of our rules. I, Director Ballard, move the adoption of the following resolution. Resolution 01-11-20-2021, Association Rule 3.22, Discharge of Firearms. Whereas the purpose of amending Association Rule 3.22 is to expand the exceptions to the restriction on the discharge of weapons in Pine Mountain Club, and whereas the effect of these amendments is to bring the PMC rule on the discharge of weapons in line with state and local laws, and resolved that the PMC PLA Board of Directors approve Resolution 01-11-20-2021, the changes to Association Rule 3.22, discharge of firearms, as follows. You want me to read the entire thing, Mr. Chairman?
Would it be appropriate just to read the additions?
I think so.
Yeah, the changes are relate to the exceptions of discharge of firearms in PMC. There have been 3 additions. The exception is any peace officer acting in the line of duty. Number 2, if necessary in self-defense. Or 3, the firing of blank cartridge salutes by honor guards. Those are the changes to Association Rule 3.22.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Peggy. Discussion? I might just, and I think it's very well worded in the resolution itself, the reasons that we did so. It wouldn't surprise you to know that there's been others who think that we're trying to become, allowing guns to run rampant, people to act in self-defense, and that's really not the case, because the old rule was nobody could discharge a firearm except for our patrol officers. And we had the documents take a look at this and add these exceptions that, again, are both provided by state law, and just clarify it. One of the things that has occurred over the years is people who have discharged firearms at bears. And although many of us believe that's not the best way to go about getting rid of bears, they did so in self-defense or protecting their property. Because of the old rule, they were all issued citations for discharging their firearms and had to relive, so to speak, their experiences in the hearings. And to my knowledge, I don't believe anybody has ever been issued or been fined for those discharges. So we're trying to bring it more into compliance with state law and what actually occurs. Any other discussion? Members, any discussion?
I have a question.
Sure.
Self-defense, is this gonna be up to the courts to decide in the long run, or?
It's the courts and what the law provides. Go into the penal code and you can read what self-defense is. Members, anything?
Again, Jennifer, and 356, I have 3566, 565. Hey, I got it memorized.
I don't know, was that a question?
I think it was a question. I'm not sure. I think that's it, 3566565. It's such an easy number, it's too easy. Just a question about this. So like, if I've got a bear on my deck, is that, or on my house, is that considered self-defense if the bear, I'm just seeking a little bit of clarification. Because I got a paintball gun and I plan to use it if he's on my deck and has rummaged through my deck.
Again, self-defense is, or protecting your property is subjective, really, according to the law.
Right.
Whatever you believe at that time is what you need to do.
Yeah, I don't intend to get them in the chest, but in the ass on the way, oh, excuse me. In the butt on the way out. Okay, thanks.
I got another question. If the court decides that you're shooting the bear was not in self-defense, can we cite them?
We could, but if that was actually the case, it would probably be a sheriff's report. Because one of the things that happens with the bear shootings, or shooting at bears, is that in all cases, I'm pretty sure we've gotten justification, confirmation from the sheriff's department.
But if we don't get the confirmation, then we can cite them.
We could.
Yes, I just want to address, do we really want to get involved with this? Why is the association getting involved with this? There are federal and state laws that restrict what you can do with a firearm, okay? Now, I've had 3 bears in my house break into my house. I've had a mountain lion break into my house. And I have to tell you, I was extremely happy that I had a .357 in my house. Now, I fortunately did not have to use it, but I was happy I had it in my back pocket when I approached the bear. And personally, I really don't want the association to tell me what I'm legally allowed to do with a firearm. The state and federal law states very clearly what I'm allowed to do, what I'm allowed to, where I'm allowed to carry, and just so everybody is, that may have concerns, I've never carried a firearm on PMC property, okay? Whether I'm allowed to or not, I can't address, but I have not. So, but I don't think we should restrict members to this level that you can't. I have to tell you, if a bear comes into my house and it threatens my life, or it threatens my dog's life, guess who's gonna lose? The bear. And I want the association to second guess what I'm allowed to do. I don't think you need this rule. I really don't.
Well, let me just say this once again, is that as a member of Governing Docs, you know that we have had the rule, you can't discharge a firearm at all. It didn't say you couldn't discharge with an exception. It said you couldn't do it at all. So even if you used it in self-defense, you would be violating the association rule. This rule expands the restrictions according to state law.
Correct, I was against the original rule. I don't think this one solves it.
So noted.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
I, Director Ballard, move the adoption of the following resolution. Resolution 02-11-20-2021, Association Rules Swimming Pool, parentheses, jacuzzi. Whereas the purpose of amending Association Rule 16.07 is to include a reference to state law as the rationale for the age restriction on children in the jacuzzi, and delete high temperatures as a rationale for the rule. And whereas the effect of this amendment is to bring the rule into correspondence with state law, and resolve that the PMC-PA Board of Directors approve resolution 02-11-20-2021, the changes to Association Rule 16.07, swimming pool jacuzzi, as follows. What we have done is change the allowable age of somebody to be into the jacuzzi from 18 to 5 years, and we're simply going with state law.
And just read that section if you don't mind, please. The new section.
Jacuzzi. No child under 5 years of age shall be allowed in the jacuzzi in accordance with state law.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second, and I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. Because we're a private association, aren't we allowed to be more restrictive than the state?
I got this from our legal department because we could be open to a lawsuit if we have a higher age.
How's housing.
Even though
I think
we're
it falls,
legally
Yes.
allowed to be.
I think it falls under the housing discrimination laws.
Fair
Yes,
housing.
fair housing.
So what do we do, because having a gaggle of kids in the hot tub is when adults want to be in the hot tub, and, you know, I'm an adult, I pay my assessment, I get that hot tub seat.
And their parents also pay their assessments, and fair housing is always looking for a reason to sue. They look for cases just like this, so we have to be in compliance. I don't like it either, the majority of members don't like it, and a lot of parents just throw them in there so they can get warmed up. Not for a good reason.
Okay, go ahead.
Do we have any rules about if a parent has, if a child of 5 has to be accompanied by a parent in the jacuzzi, or do we have any rule about what you can do in the jacuzzi? For example, a 5-year-old having on goggles and diving in and out, going up and down.
There's rules posted by the jacuzzi. Parents must be with their children at all times.
Okay.
Karen, what age? 5.
So this rule doesn't change that rule that the parent has to, it doesn't change it. Should it be in here? That parents still have to be with the child, or?
It's in Rule Article
It
16.
is, but
And it's also posted out by the jacuzzi.
I get that, totally get both of those, but I'm wondering, it should be included in the resolution, but if you don't think it does, then never mind.
But it's a separate rule.
It's a separate rule.
It's in there.
Any other directors?
Yeah. 350-7325. So when we say parents need to be with the child, is there a specific, because if a parent is in the pool area on the opposite side of the jacuzzi, is that considered with their 5-year-old? Oh, and I didn't read the rules stated by the jacuzzi recently. Does it mention footage or something specific so that it will disseminate? It doesn't. So I'm just suggesting we might consider what is with their 5-year-old, because that's a kind of gray matter.
It's not gray. We have it, and we insist that the parents are right there. They can sit on the edge of the jacuzzi, but they must be with their children. They can't be across the pool, can't be in the pool. They have to be at the jacuzzi with their children.
Oh, okay, so that's clear to me right now. Here, on the rules stated, does it say at the jacuzzi with their children? Okay, just checking.
And it's in our association rules also.
It's in the association rules? Okay, so the question, the thing I'm just looking at is to make sure that when somebody's considering being a nuisance, they're well aware in the moment they are being a nuisance.
Absolutely not, because parents don't read the rules.
Not all of them, Karen, let's be good.
Let's be good.
And just a
Yeah.
note on that as well is that, you know, we're trying not to be super rule oriented, like you gotta be within 3 feet of your kid, or
Right.
5 feet of your kid, or 15 feet of your kid. I mean, there's, you know, the discretionary aspect of that. Across the pool is probably not accompanying or being with your child.
However, in the moment, and this has happened on governing dogs before, a rule was made, diapers, it wasn't posted, and then you know what happened. Diapers for kids, diapers for adults, and I'm just suggesting that we kind of close the gap a little, if it's possible, with a couple of words. Because it's more fun to have fun than to deal with untangling.
Mr. Chairman, that's not what rule we're discussing here.
Right.
Where we're getting away
Yeah,
from
we're
what
getting away from
the
that.
rule is.
Okay.
So back to the 5-year
Changes.
rules. Anybody, any discussion on this motion regarding 5-year-olds in the jacuzzi? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
I get to read a lot of.
Do you want me to read one for you? If you make the motion, I'll read.
Doesn't matter, go ahead.
Go ahead, make the motion and then I'll read.
I, Director Ballard, move the adoption of the following resolution.
And that resolution is 03-11-20-2021, Association Rule 6.15 swimming pool. Whereas the purpose of this amendment to Association Rule 1615 is to narrow the scope of restrictions on photography around the swimming pool by limiting the prohibition to people who have given permission to be photographed, and whereas the effect of this amendment is to require that photography of people around the pool is by permission only, and resolved that the PMC POA Board of Directors approve Resolution 03-11-20-2021, the changes to Association Rule 1615 swimming pool as follows.
Is it,
And
I think there's a typo in the first, is it
Yes, there is.
1615? Okay, it said 615, okay, that's all. All right.
Very good. What a nice job. And here is the sentence as it would read. Photography of people is not permitted in or around the pool area unless permission has been granted by the subjects or parents/guardians of minors. Is there a second to that motion? Second by Ellen. Discussion? Members?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion
Okay.
carries.
My last one. I, Director Ballard, move the adoption of the following resolution. Resolution 04-11-20-2021, Association Rule 19.10, Common Rules for all committees. Whereas the purpose of this amendment to Association Rule 19.10 is to require committees to notify the office of a change in meeting time or cancellation within a specified time period so that accurate information can be made available to the members, and whereas the purpose of this amendment is to allow the committee chair to cancel a meeting, and whereas the effect of this amendment is to allow proper notice to the members of the time and place of a committee meeting, and resolve that the PMC PLA Board of Directors approve Resolution 04-11-20-2021, the changes to Association Rule 19.10, Common Rules for all committees as follows. Let me read the changes. When the committee does not meet or changes the day and time of the meeting, it shall notify the office at least 7 days in advance or as soon as known. A meeting shall be canceled if the quorum is not met. I think the idea here we had was to make sure that,
That's Richard. We'll discuss.
okay,
Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Second by Philip. Go ahead.
the idea here was to make sure that the office was notified and that we can notify members well in advance when a committee needs to change their date and time.
Any other discussion by directors? Members?
Sorry, I guess I speak a lot. Finn Wygan. I just have a suggestion, and I've made that suggestion many times before. I think it would be helpful, because we've often heard that members don't join the committees, they don't get involved, they don't, as we can see here today, they don't get involved. I think what would help is if committees were obligated to post on the PMC POA website the agenda for the next meeting, so that we, the members, can see, is this something that we want to address? Do we want to go there? I would like to add that to the proposals. I think the proposal today is good, but add that to it, that chairman have, or chairwoman has to include, send in the agenda and post it on the website, so we can see what they're up to. Just a suggestion.
And I actually, somebody make a note of this right now? I agree.
I was gonna say, I think,
And
Chairman Lewis, you agree with me? Hallelujah.
I think
I
health
don't
throws
want to see that
over,
all over Facebook.
Let's make that a note in the minutes.
I think health throws over because I agree with you too.
And we will direct that to governing documents to take a look at it.
Thank you. Comment?
Yeah.
When I was first the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, we used to post the agendas out here in the lobby, and they had to be posted at least 4 days before the meeting.
And that was a requirement or just
Yeah.
something you did?
No, it was a requirement, and that's the whole premise of having to change, officially change the dates and times of meetings so people knew, because we posted the agendas out in the lobby.
Well, putting it on the website wouldn't be a bad idea.
No, I don't think so either.
Excuse me, if I may add to that, I applaud you for doing that. It was great,
Yeah.
okay? I did the same thing. When I was
think
chair of the
they-
Budget
we all did.
Finance, I was chair of the Planning Committee, I did the same thing. It would be great to post it on the website. You have a
I agree.
website.
As I am looking now at Rule 1911, it does not less than 4 days' notice of the time, place, and reason for the meeting shall be given to all committee members
Oh,
and the board liaison and be posted on the lobby bulletin.
oh.
That was a rule.
So,
So all the committee chairs who haven't been doing that are in violation, will issue a citation at a later date. Forward.
can we just, oh, so sorry. So can we just, oh, you know my name. So, previously provided.
Pull that down, there you go.
So can we make a suggestion in bringing up our, some of our operations instead of posting it in the foyer? Can we put it on the website so that we can go paperless and work on that verbiage?
That would be my recommendation. I'm gonna send it to governing docs to probably website and lobby would be appropriate.
Thank you very much.
Okay, anything else about this rule? Members? Any other directors? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
I, Director Hoyt Fulger, move the adoption of the following resolution. This is a motion. Resolution number 5, 11/2021, California Forest Improvement Program Greenbelt Cleanup. Whereas due to the years of drought, the dry and very flammable vegetation in the PMC POA greenbelt and current heat wave conditions are contributing to the extreme fire hazard risk of our community. Reducing our fire hazard risk is part of our 5-year strategic plan. This resolution will allow PMC POA to continue to reduce fuel flow in our greenbelt, and whereas PMC's portion of the grant is not to exceed $55,000, and be it resolved that the PMC POA Board of Directors approve resolution number 5, 11/2021, not to exceed $55,000 from the Greenbelt Cleanup Operating Fund to remove brush and dead vegetation, dead trees, and limb up trees.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Cam. Discussion by directors.
This is a grant that we received from the California Forest Improvement Program. It is state money. It's a 90% match. We received almost $90,000, a little shy. We had to match that with 10%. And this will clean up 42 acres up above the campground going up the hill. It will clean from Arctic along between the mobiles and the highway out to Cedarwood. And there's one more spot. A little bit of the frontage. A little of the frontage road going this way. We need it. We need to be cleaning up our areas, especially, we just need to do it. It's fire hazard risk. So that's it.
Any other discussion? Members?
So Karen, I love this, thank you so much. Karen, I recall, can you restate it or let us know in the condo, you mentioned, I believe, that when members cleaned the green belt around their property, that we could notify EC or somebody and the debris would be picked up.
Yes.
Okay. That kind
Green belt property, not your own property.
Yes, and that kind of goes through, and I'm only going off of, because I'm working with the water company, so that we do both parts of our water and our fire, if it just kind of works out, so,
What
I'm
do you-
sorry.
I don't understand what you're getting.
Oh, yeah, thank you. The water company has been trying to get out information for years about conserving our water and the different ways. And some of the work that's being done along the roadside that we've seen is containing the runoff water that adds to our aquifer and increases the water table in our area. So yes, we can be doing above ground operations and
What does
taking
that have
care
to do with the reducing fire?
of reducing the fire hazard
With this grant?
on this.
We're,
I think you're talking, are you talking,
Motion.
we're kind of looking, you're kind of discussing communications, correct?
I'm kind
Sharing
of
the
discussing
information.
communications, but also asking that, yes, just getting information so that we can present what's going on from the board meeting that not many people are attending. When they read the agenda, when they read the notes, they won't get it, and we want to be able to suggest something else. And Karen, I just got your information. Excuse me if I was staying at ground level, I got kind of up there so that the bigger picture can be shown. There's parts other people are not getting all the time.
Correct. And so we, and again, just anybody else regarding the motion on the money? Anything else, directors? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
motion to approve the update to business policy C2 Condor monthly newsletter.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ellen. Discussion?
Chair, I'd like to pick it. As the liaison to the governing documents committee, I wanted to bring up something that was discussed in the committee and ultimately rejected, but I thought we could bring it up and at least take a look at it and let the board decide if they wanted to make any adjustments to it. It revolves around the very last sentence of this business policy. And regarding letters to the editor, the letters chosen for publication are likely to be edited for brevity and clarity. One of the members of the committee brought up an idea, and I thought it probably should be discussed whether we want to do it or not, about an editor editing somebody's letter. We discussed the idea that newspapers don't do that. If you send a letter into a newspaper, they often edit it before they publish it, and without sending it back to you for review. Since we are not a newspaper in Condor, we certainly have a great editor right now. Ronnie does a great job of editing without changing the meaning. But one never knows what might happen in the future with another editor. And so one of the members brought the idea of, can we devise some time frame whereby if we submit a letter to the editor within X time, that the editor would, if they decide they need to edit it, would send it back to the sender and say, is this okay? The discussion revolved around maybe there isn't enough time to do all that and make it work. But perhaps in today's environment with emails, we might be able to say, if the letter comes in, let's just say, make a number, 14 days before we need it for publication, the editor could send it back to them within 10 days. And I'm just picking up numbers here. So I thought we'd bring it up and let the board decide if they thought it would be wise to send letters to the editor back if they have to be edited.
So I would just say this regarding the motion for this policy, and I think that's a good idea, but what I would suggest is that any directors who want that input probably should either send it to you as the liaison, and then you have a discussion with governing docs on how you might want to propose that wording.
Can I just talk about what you just said? I think it'd be a colossal waste of time.
I hear you.
I think it'd be a colossal waste of time, because then the person who wrote it might want to write back, no, change it to this, and they have to go back and forth. How many times back and forth are you gonna let them go back and forth before you get the letter right? It just adds a whole other level to, it could add several hours to the editor's position. And just, hopefully they do a good job of, if they do a bad job editing a letter, then they'll complain and they can resubmit it. But to go back and forth on the same letter, it could just be a colossal waste of time, I think.
Have we talked to Ronnie about this at all? So that might be another person we want to talk to about timeframes.
I don't think it's right to edit and then not get approval from the author of the letter. And I don't think you're gonna get back and forth. I think if you're gonna change wording, that we should get approval from the author, just verifying this is what you meant, I haven't changed your meaning, and all that, and I think one pass should.
I think that was the original concern of the individual who brought it up in the committee meeting, that there might be some change in meaning that perhaps wasn't meant by the addition.
And often it's edited just to make it for brevity, right? So to make it more concise and, yeah.
Okay, so I think this is a discussion maybe with governing docs, maybe we should contact Ronnie, get her input on it as well. A good point. Regarding this change, anything else from directors? Deborah?
You're opening up to the members, aren't you?
Yes. You're a member, right? That's what I said.
Yeah, and it's still short. I was just gonna say, there's something that you might want to be aware of, is that when somebody submits something to be printed in the Condor, it is stated on the website that it may not get in the current issue coming up, and to be prepared that it would be in the next issue. So it does take care of the communication between the actual writer and the summarizer or the editor.
Thank you. Any other members?
Hey, hey.
Were you just waving, or you just?
No,
wanna-
she's walking the line.
I would suggest also, 35, 67, 113, Lee Donovan. There's options, if you want to edit it, just one edit, you're limited to one edit, you can, put some guidelines, or word count. Because people can go on and on and on, so, I know that, so.
Well, I would think too, that if something got sent back to somebody, that it should be only like a one-time deal, not a back and forth,
Right.
because it could get very
I agree with that.
intensive. Okay, any other members? Directors, anything else? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carries.
Motion to approve the update to business policy C3, compliments, complaints, concerns, thoughts.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Richard. Discussion? Members? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Information and correspondence, the board sent and received 37 items of correspondence. Directors Forum, Director White-Volker, Fire Safe Council update. We have been very successful with our Go Bag giveaway. We've had events in Tehachapi, Kern River Valley, High Mountain Club. We've got one coming up in Treasure Park, and another one coming up in Tehachapi. So that's been going well. We're working well with Kern Fire Department, and we're working on a couple of grants. And that's it. Director Acosta, discussion and possible motion on STR working group.
Okay. Director McClellan would like to form a working group consisting of 2 board members, the 2 of us, because we're volunteering, maybe 2 pro-STR members and 2 people who may be against STRs to get both sides, for a minimum of 6 people on the committee, not committee, working group, and I'd say 7 at the most. What we want to do is identify monetary and non-monetary pros and cons of STRs so we can verify the issues with STRs. Monetary would be something like a pro would be, with STRs, we would have more income in the cafe and lounge. The con would be possibly the cafe and lounge would be crowded with non-members. A non-monetary would be, we'd have more roll-offs at the transfer site, which is a cost to all members, and not just STR. It wouldn't be a bigger cost to STRs, although they might cause more pickups to happen. Non-monetary might be the community feel. For instance, non-members who are belligerent to staff requests, which we've experienced a lot. Another non-monetary might be the crowded pool with non-members. We want to identify our legal avenues for regulating STRs according to the law, and what we have in our STRs so far. And we want to set more appropriate regulations and establish more comprehensive application and renewal process. That's what we'd like to accomplish by having this. And I would like to make, we can have a discussion. I would like to make a motion to establish this working group.
You would like to, or are you?
I'm making a motion to establish this working group.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion?
Discussion, yeah, with this group.
Phil,
You might.
Sorry.
You have to think, all those people can't hear.
Sorry. For this group also taking in consideration quality of life issues, such as
Yes,
being
that
next to
would
a
be the
party
non-
house.
Yes.
Also the monetary, possibly having to hire more patrol people to monitor more.
Absolutely,
STRs.
those are the things we'd like to identify.
And possibly also having to revamp the transfer site. The transfer site needs to be revamped anyhow, but if we have more STRs, that transfer needs to be redone. to handle-
And, personally, I can see that there might have to be, okay, I got a complaint from someone that he made a reservation at the cafe, and when they got here, all tables were full, and they had to wait an hour even with the reservation, and he didn't recognize anyone that was here. So he assumed it had a lot to do with STRs. I don't know if it did or not. But what he suggested is something that might come out of this might be to limit a certain amount of guest cards per weekend for STRs. So in other words, first come, first serve on STRs getting guest cards. I mean, there's a lot of things that might happen with this. I don't know.
So it wouldn't just be limited to financial, the quality of life issues would be.
No, and one of the quality would be, in the summer, every day when I came to the pool, there were no seats.
Okay,
And-
well, let's not get into the
Yeah, so
specifics of what you would be
those
interested in.
kinds of things, maybe we could actually identify them by doing some research.
Go.
Also, if you could look into, if we have too many STRs, that really lowers our opportunity to get a loan.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
or anything we want to do. So I just wanted to let you know that.
That
Put
doesn't
that on
happen.
your list.
That doesn't happen.
Doesn't?
No, we don't, no lender asks us when we get a loan on a house, how many renters are here, STRs are here. That doesn't happen here.
Okay.
That happens in condo associations. Does not happen in the family.
Okay.
Okay, and if you have, and I would just say this, if you have suggestions on what
we were going to identify as the goal and mission of the group. Send them to Ellen, or
Yep.
Cam, Ellen points to Cam, send them to Cam so that she can structure the proposal.
Yeah, the goal is to, by doing these things, we can find out what the real issues are and see if we can control them or have ways of dealing with them that makes it.
One more thing, would we include someone from the town center on this committee to kind of get an idea of the financial impact STRs have on the town center? Would that be?
I think she listed some professionals, right?
I just said 2 board members, 2 members that are pro STRs, and we know one who's interested who is a STR manager, and then 2 con members. What I've been told is we cannot actually, as a purpose for this committee, cannot be concerned about the impact with the business center because it's not part of the association, but we could include someone from either a property owner or a merchant, we could do that, but we don't want to get the committee too large.
And I would just say this in that regard, is that we would not ignore input or data that they might provide. So it would not be open, or they wouldn't be shut out from participation, even if it were in the collection of data.
Are you going to, Bill, are you going to appoint these people, or how's it going to work?
I think I am.
Okay. And before you appoint them, or before we establish this, shouldn't we have a complete set of goals and a time frame for that to come back to us?
Yes.
So,
I think we need to specifically identify our goals through the committee. I think we could set a time frame now, though, for reporting results as soon as we can, so it doesn't drag out too long. We could do that as a first report of our findings.
But we have to have generalized goal and mission. This is what they hope to accomplish, and you address some of those things. The specifics of what you do can be committee work.
Yeah.
So yes, we will have that, we will have a time frame, and then also the names of the people who will be on that should be one thing, and I'm hoping that we will do that next month, no later than.
Is there any way to do it before next month? You mean appointing
Should
certain
have-
people?
If they were written right now, we could, but,
I wrote them, but they're not written, typed up, no.
right, for everybody to review, and if we put that
We
together.
can type it up.
Yeah, because I didn't want to wait a whole month, but we had a couple people in mind who said they would do it, and then, but the others, I don't know.
Okay.
I just want to say one thing about timeframes. I'd be leery about putting a hard timeframe because some of these, I've been on a working committee. When you first started, we want to get it done in 6 months, but it took 18 months to really hash it out and do it properly. So you don't want to get hamstrung by having
Yeah, but you
a
can
hard,
still give an
hard
update.
date.
You can
Updates,
give
yes.
a hard date and.
Updates, yes, but to
Talk
have
about where
to
you
back around
are.
a conclusion, maybe that should be kind of
Well, I don't
up
think,
to the committee.
I think we need to have a hard date. If we leave this open-ended and stays forever, then we won't have any real data to look at if we need to change. So we can always change a hard date down the road, but I really think we need a hard date that if we have to change it, we can. But I want this committee, this working group, to have a hard date to come back to us and say, this is what we found out, this is and let us as a board then take that data and decide how we approach SVRs.
yeah,
Should we,
give it enough time.
So if you would like to make a motion, it would be this, that we proceed forward with establishing a working group to address short-term rentals.
okay, that's my motion. To proceed forward with establishing a working group to
I think she got
what? I don't know.
it. She get it, Grace?
She's still writing.
Proceed forward to establish an SDR working group. And what else do you say? And they have to
Establish
withdraw,
guidelines for
they have to
SDRs.
withdraw their other motion.
I think did I make a motion? I think it was just to establish an STR working group.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, how is the goals will come afterwards?
It's the
Well,
same.
And the second, so let's just go back then to the first one, to establish a
Yeah.
SDR working group.
That's what you have, yeah.
Okay.
We'll stick with that.
Now,
And who seconded? Ellen did?
I did, yes.
Okay.
did someone want to amend it to put in a date?
No, I think
Okay.
that will be part of what we're gonna come back with our goals and stuff. We will recommend a hard date or
Perfect.
for addressing that, along with
Alright.
goals and missions.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion by the board? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
Okay, committee liaison reports, Director Acosta, Budget and Finance.
We have the budget and finance meeting. I think, somebody reminded, we have either 6 members or 7. So we're full.
Yes.
We're good. Although we don't have a chair. So
Yes, you
we do. I know. I can't be the chair. I am the chair, but I told everyone, we do have a secretary. We did have a volunteer.
Make the dean the chair.
Huh?
Just tell the dean he's the chair. The dean,
The dean?
the dean.
That's the new guy.
The
You
dean?
guys.
Oh, maybe. No,
Tell me.
I told them at our next meeting, I'm going to assign someone to run that meeting, and I'll do it every time until someone volunteers to be the chair. So people can practice, and they'll see it's not that scary. So we're doing well. I really appreciate Beth and George, because to me, the financial statements are really clean. They're easy to understand. If we have questions or we see something that doesn't make sense, she'll either explain it very well, or she will say, oh, I can change that a little right there. And she's very helpful. So our meeting was very short on Wednesday. I think it took an hour, maybe less.
40 minutes.
Yeah, it went really well. So that's where we stand on budget and finance.
Okay. Director Lewis, Communications.
I was there, and they reviewed the complaints and concerns. They reviewed the website and talked about some updates, and I think Ronnie has already done what they talked about, and then they discussed the member packet that they're working on, and I think at the next meeting, they're gonna be presenting it, right? Yeah, there.
Okay, Director Ballard did emergency preparedness.
I took place for Peggy. Was a relatively short meeting. They did indicate that they were replacing and buying medical supplies, additional ones for their academy members, the new cert members that they had approved. They did discuss their charter. Apparently, the board has not yet approved their charter, and they were looking at some changes to that. The December safety tip is winter holiday safety. Check your smoke alarms, candles, trees, etc. And they're going to be dark in December.
Director Acosta, Environmental Control.
The Environmental Control Committee is plugging along. We have a lot of things to do at every meeting, and at this last meeting, they were reluctant. There was a long conversation about one issue, and they were reluctant to make a decision either way. And it was decided to have the board take a look at it, and I realized from that I need to be a stronger liaison and have them make decisions knowing that they are recommendations and that they're not making the final decision, and have them make decisions at their meeting to take the board. So that's it.
Director Ballard, Governing Docs.
Yeah, governing docs actually discussed many of the things that we discussed today. We reviewed the procedures for the Condor, Business Policy C2, procedures for the C2C box, Business Policy C3, and then Article 3 that governs compliance with state and federal laws. And then we began our revamping of Article 21, the EC code. That's going to be a monumental task for us to do. And before I end my report, I'm going to say something that's of a personal nature, but also something for the club. I don't know how many people have ever been on the Governmental Docs Committee, but it is an extremely difficult job that these people have in changing this. And I must say we are, as a club, immensely happy to have our chairman. You cannot imagine the work that goes into this and the work that John does for this committee. I am absolutely floored at the work he does and how he prepares us as a committee. John, thank you so much for your time. That concludes my report.
Did anybody attend Greens and Grounds?
I think they were dark.
Okay. Planning was dark, water company was dark, and, the commercial center.
I have.
Okay.
And I would just, and maybe just on for the future, because the water committee is a quarterly thing, so I don't know if we need to put it in there every month, unless we're just looking for like, maybe there might be an update.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I can just put dark.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
sometimes she does, Phyllis doesn't.
I spoke to the outgoing president for the commercial center. They did have a meeting, I don't know if anybody knew about it, but it was in the gazebo, it was probably 2 weeks ago. And they're fixing the street over there because it's got potholes and stuff. And as far as taking care of the pine needles and everything on the roofs, that's really up to each building owner. But what he did tell me is that the building owners are all trying to sell their buildings. So just to let our community know that. No one wants to step up to be the president of that association at this time.
Okay, members rebuttal forum is a 10-minute forum following the director's forum. Members can reply to any matter raised by a director during director's forum. Replies will be limited to 1 minute per speaker. Members wishing to be recognized should step to the microphone, address the board chair, and state name, tract, and lot number. There may not be an immediate verbal answer from the board to questions or comments from the members. Members may not yield time to other speakers. Members will refrain from being argumentative and making derogatory or personal remarks or gestures.
$3,035.67 feet. My curiosity, what, for EC, what's the biggest issue, if you can tell us or not, that they can't decide on? I'm just curious.
It had to do with something legal, so I don't want to discuss it.
Yeah, that's fine. On the working SDR group, can you have one on the fence?
On what?
On the fence?
Only if it's been approved by EC, being on the fence.
If it's you?
Not like when I was at Deborah's house there.
Oh, you mean as a member?
Yeah, as a member.
Mike,
Sure.
that would be a good one,
That would
yeah.
be an odd number.
Yeah.
That would give you an odd.
Yeah.
That would give you an odd number.
Well, I'd like to volunteer.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
That's good. The PMCCPOA is also, the merchants are included also. I guess we didn't have a meeting. I was kind of confused when you first said they had a meeting, which I didn't know about, but it's the owners.
The owners had a meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But he also works with the merchants too.
Has there been a merchants meeting?
No, I'm trying to get that going, but
Can you let me know?
As soon as there is, let us know.
yeah, we'll do, I'll get one going. Because Pam usually does that too, but, anyway, thank you.
Right. Any other members?
Adjournment. In the October 16, 2021 executive session, the following was discussed: litigation, potential litigation. 4 were discussed. Contracts 1 discussed. Forbearance agreements 2 to approve 3402476 and 3508128. Foreclosure request 0. Hearings 18, 8 discussed, 10 approved, 3566527, $250, 3566368, $250, 3566346, $1,000, 3566639, $500, 3566-026, 1,000. 3566-256-250. 3566-128, $1,000. 3566-128, $4,500. 3508-125, $250. 3402-437, $250. Personnel 3, discuss. The next regular board, open board meeting will take place on December 18, 2021 at 10 a.m. in the Condor Room. Motion by Director Craig-Folker, second by Director
Second?
Acosta to adjourn.
Meeting's adjourned.
Okay. See you later.
I know. Thanks, everyone, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
There's been a sort of back and forth between me and Joe, and Grace entered into it a little bit.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're supposed to, anything we do,
You know what?